Hey, what's up, everyone? Billy Carson here, 4 Minute Knowledge on YouTube Live on the eve of Thanksgiving, 11/25, 2020. How's everything going, guys? Let's see how many people can hop in the chat. I know I don't go live on YouTube often, so let's see what's happening here. See you guys coming in. Hey, what's up, guys? See y'all coming in the chat over here. I'm going to go ahead and just checking a couple messages. Go ahead and let a few more people hop in here. And I'm going to talk about multidimensional consciousness for a little while. And, it has a lot to do with the remote viewing workshop that I have coming up. I don't know if you guys knew about it, but I'm going to leave the information in the caption of this video. There is a remote viewing workshop coming up that I'm going to be doing for 5 hours straight on December the 5th, 2020. That's in a few weeks, actually, maybe a week and almost a week and a half, probably, yeah. And it's going to be from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's on Eventbrite. The link will be in the caption of this video. So let's see what everybody's in the chat talking about. What's up, Jordan? Oh, I like that name, Macabre Light. UFOs are outside right now. I believe it. How do you initiate contact? That's a great question. There's so many different ways that you can initiate contact. There's no particular right way, unfortunately. We just don't know what their method of communications are sometimes. PMB, first time catching you live. What's up? Thank you. Yeah. Huntley, thanks a lot. I appreciate that, Huntley. Selena Jackson is in here now. Everybody's in here. Eric Tyler. So, guys, I'm going to talk a little bit about multidimensional consciousness. So it's a little warm in here because I just turned the air off to cut the noise down. But the mind, your brain, is literally downloading a stream of information. So your brain does not create consciousness; it downloads consciousness. This is where a lot of people get confused because they think that their mind is literally creating the consciousness, or the mind is conscious. It's not exactly. What's really happening is the mind is working in correlation with something called the neural correlates of consciousness, which are these three giant neurons that wrap around the whole brain. And when you look at these three giant neurons under an MRI or a CAT scan, it looks like a crown of thorns. So you see the allegory from the Jesus story, him with the crown of thorns trying to become an ascended master. Well, those crown of thorns are around everybody's head. We all have a crown of thorns. We carry a crown of thorns everywhere because it's inside of our skull. The three neural correlates of consciousness work in collaboration with the magnetite crystals in your brain. All of us have billions and billions of magnetite crystals in our brain, actual crystals. And crystals, if you watched my episode that I did on Forbidden Knowledge TV, crystals are conscious. Okay, crystals themselves are conscious, but they also have the capability of receiving and sending information. Crystal receivers, crystal radio sets. Nikola Tesla was the first one to design the first crystal radio receiver back in the 1800s. Okay, so you have that inside of your brain. And now you can also detect magnetic fields. Now, you're not aware of it because, unfortunately, we have been totally disconnected from our sensation of feeling with nature. But they took a person, put them inside of a room with a gigantic magnet, and then they moved the magnetic field around the person. But they had a cap on the person's head, picking up the brain waves. So the electromagnetic waves being transmitted by the brain was detecting the movement of the magnetic field. The magnetite crystals were responding to the magnetic field. So we still can detect magnetic fields. We're just not fully aware of it. And probably in ancient times, before the genetic modification by the Anunnaki, we probably used to navigate the planet using magnetic fields just like turtles and birds do. And we probably use it for a lot of other things as well, sensing pending dangers, and sensing pending earthquakes and things like that, just having a more direct connection with nature. But the fact that crystals receive information is important because in remote viewing, we are literally sending our mind out into the energetic grid, and we are literally downloading information. We're doing it all the time anyway, but now we're directing it for a particular target. That's what I'm going to be teaching you. So you have your brain neurons, you have the neural correlates of consciousness, you have the magnetite crystals inside of your brain working together in conjunction along with the neocortex. So in your brain, you have something called the neocortex. That's where they got the name Neo for the Matrix movie, okay? If you didn't know, it's not because they just want to call him Neo. They're talking about neocortex because the neocortex has to do with higher reasoning, higher understanding, and developing higher levels of consciousness. So the neocortex, the neural correlates of consciousness, the neurons in the brain, the magnetite crystals, it's like a gigantic orchestra working together to help you collect a stream of information that's coming in. And this stream is a consciousness stream that's tuned to your specific avatar frequency. So every single person is getting a download of information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That download of information is who you are. That's your spirit, your soul, whatever you want to call it, okay? That's what makes you, you, and what makes me, me. But here's the thing. It's all coming from one source. If you have a radio station, okay, in your town, that radio station sends out the frequency for probably 25 channels on a radio station, right? Sending out information for 99.1, 99.2, 99.3, 99.4. However, all of those frequencies are coming from one building, but they're going out in slightly different modes or slightly different frequencies, so that if you're on the right tuned in crystal set, you can pick up that frequency and that frequency only, and you can listen to that. The same exact thing is happening from the as above, so below standpoint. When you look at the universal consciousness, there's only one consciousness, but what happens is that consciousness is sending out a stream of slightly different frequencies. Each one is tuned to your particular avatar body, my avatar body, somebody else's avatar body. So we're all coming from the same one source, but we're tuned slightly differently to allow that spirit, that light being that's you, that real you, to inhabit the avatar body and animate it, okay? So in the remote viewing class, we're going to talk about this. We're going to learn about this. And we're going to learn how to send your mind out, and we're going to direct your consciousness stream towards information. And that target information, you're going to collect data on that information. But you're not only going to collect data, you're going to smell it, you're going to hear it, you're going to touch it, you're going to feel it, okay? Even though you're not physically there at the target, you're going to be trained to pick up these sensory perceptions, because what is sensory perception? Sensory perception is only one thing and one thing only: the ability for your avatar body to detect electromagnetic fields and transmit that information to the brain in the form of data that the brain then breaks down into information and then projects a hologram as to what's going on. You never actually really touch anything. I'm not touching this phone, okay? What's happening is the electromagnetic field surrounding the atoms inside of my fingers are repelling the atoms, fields inside the phone. So there is no real touch of the phone. I'm not touching this phone. What it is two forces repelling each other that's giving me that. Now, this phone, the atoms in this phone vibrate at a specific frequency, a subatomic frequency. So if I were to use an electron microscope and detect the subatomic frequency of this phone, and then I obtain that frequency, then I can take, if I had the capability to take my hand and then phase shift the atoms in my hand to that same exact frequency, my hand would pass right through this phone like it wasn't even there. Why? Because atoms are 99.9% empty space. And the only thing that stops you from going through something is repulsion. Two forces stopping and repelling each other. Okay, and we're talking about electromagnetism, electrogravitics, those types of things that we're going to be getting into and understanding how they work and why they work. This workshop is going to be like a science class, because in the first half of the workshop, I'm going to give you some real quantum physics and quantum mechanics. And I'm going to teach you why remote viewing actually works. because I don't want you to think it's magic, because it's not magic. It's real science. This is why the CIA uses it. This is why the Russian, military uses it. This is why other governments now have been using it as well. And the reason is because it actually is, there's a science behind it. They can collect information on targets without actually having to go there. They can get into rooms and enclosed areas that are top secret without having to go there. They can give locations for missile strikes without having to go there and get the intel. So if they're spending millions and millions of dollars, maybe even billions of dollars on these things to do it, that means we need to be investigating it ourselves. Now, I was taught by Major Ed Dames. Okay, Major Ed Dames, it was the former head of the CIA remote viewing team. And there's photos of me all online with him and everything else. We're really good friends. But the point is, I'm going to be using the techniques that I learned from the best. And I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do remote viewing. That's going to be December the 5th. Understanding the multidimensional nature of the human mind. Your mind, okay, in our universe, there's 11 dimensions. Without 11 dimensions, the universe would collapse. We've already figured that out now scientifically through theoretical physics. It's not 100% that it's true, but based off of the mathematics, it appears that that's what's happening. Each dimension is stacked right on top of each other. Okay, I mean literally stacked right on top of each other. The only thing keeping us separated are frequencies. Now, the interesting thing about this is not only can you remote view in the third dimension to a target, you can multi-dimensional remote view. You can send your mind into higher dimensions. This is what I talk about in my book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. Thoth the Atlantean, he found a way to literally send his mind to higher dimensions where the past, present, and future happened all at once. And in that state, he was able to visit other worlds and watch civilizations rise and fall. Normally, that would take millions of years. He did it because he was operating from a higher dimension of consciousness and was able to watch these things happen where past, present, and future are happening all at once. You see? So when you get to that level, man, it's like you're, like you're a wizard, but it's really becoming an ascended master and understanding how the fundamental basis of, the universe works on a quantum level. And when you get to that point, all this stuff, everything in this universe becomes child's play. Thoth talks about turning light into matter. And what happened just 2 years ago, we finally learned how to turn light into matter. We can take photons and make it into solid matter now. We just learned how to do that. But Thoth talked about that 36,000 years ago. All this stuff is real, but we are multidimensional beings. And the reason why we know this is because, remember I told you we're collecting a stream of data into this avatar body. You might have heard me say this before. They did a study where they took people and put them in a room and they were trying to map the brain and find out how the brain looks electromagnetically when it's responding to specific types of inputs for emotions. Okay, so they put this cap on the subject, connect to a computer, and then they started showing on the screen different images. And they would show an image of a bed of roses to see what the brain looked like. Okay, tranquil scene. This is what the brain feels like, or this is what it looks like electromagnetically, tranquil scene on the computer. Interesting. So then they were like, okay, great. Every 10 seconds, they would show another image. A woman kissing a baby. Another 10 seconds go by, somebody getting killed or murdered. A horrific scene, okay? Another seconds go by, another tranquil scene. Another 10 seconds go by, a happy scene. Another 10 seconds go by, a severe car accident, okay? So now what started happening in every case study that this has been done multiple times, the human brain started transmitting to the computer what the next image was going to be up to 7 seconds in advance. Okay, up to 7 seconds in advance, the brain, the mind, was sending to the computer what the next image was going to be, whether it was going to be a tranquil scene or a horrific scene or a happy scene or a sad scene. How is this possible? How is this possible? Are we predicting the future? No. You know what's really happening? We're multidimensional. And this information is coming down through dimensions. And because of that, it takes time to get into our avatar and then be deciphered into what's going on. Okay. So what it means is we are not experiencing real time from the third dimension. The third dimension there is delayed. We're in delayed time. We're delayed up to 7 seconds. This is scientifically proven. There's a delay in the time that things actually happen versus the time that we actually figure out what's happened. It's like being in the ocean and a wave crashes over you, and you're like, oh, the wave just crashed over me. Now I'm in this particular moment. So this is interesting. This is really interesting. So what happens here is if you have a cable TV at home and you have a satellite at the same home, or even you go to a bar and they're on cable TV on one TV and they got satellite on the other, you can see the difference in speed. The cable TV will get the image on the screen, and the cable TV will be ahead of the direct TV or the satellite TV. Why is that? Because the satellite TV is delayed because it has to get the information from the satellite. So the information has to go from one location up to a satellite and then bounce back down to Earth into the region you're at. Then it's got to travel through a cable to get to your location, and then you can see it. Or it's got to go up into space and it bounce down to the satellite dish you have outside of a building, and then you can see it there, depending on how your cable is set up in that area. Now, with the other route, with cable, hardwired cable, it's connecting almost directly to source. So the delay is far less. So what I'm saying to you is we are on like a satellite type of a system where a stream of information is coming down. It's coming down through dimensions until it gets to us, our receiver, which are the neurocorrelates of consciousness, the neurons, the magnetite crystals, and the neocortex. And then we break it down and then we decipher it. So that's really what's going on. So it's really interesting that this experiment that just accidentally proved in the multidimensional consciousness and that it really does exist. Now, they've done this test over and over again in many different formats and many different ways, and we keep coming up with the same exact situation that we're not living in real time. Okay. Even the fact that you're looking at the screen to see me, that's not real time. If I was standing in front of you right now, you wouldn't see me in real time if I was standing right in front of you. You know why? The photons got to hit me, ping off of me, hit your retina, go to the back of your brain, be deciphered, and then project an image of what I look like. By that time, I've already moved. Now, it's a very short period of time, but it takes time for that to happen. So everything you see, you physically see in the third dimension is in the past. It's not in the exact moment. So we're living in a delayed time. Now, what remote viewing allows you to do, it allows you to get closer to real time. So, for example, you have a wave that's coming to crash. Somebody's in the water, it crashes over them. So they're experiencing life of after wave crash after wave crash. After the water crashes over them, they're realizing what moment they're in, okay, moment by moment. Now, when you get to a different level of consciousness that you're going to learn in my workshop, you're going to ride the top of the wave. And because you're riding the top of the wave, you're going to be closer to real-time content, real-time streaming information, making you seem faster and smarter, making you seem like you know what's going to happen before it happened. In reality, what's happening is you're living closer to real-time information. That's the whole point behind this. So there's two types of people who let the wave crash on them before they realize what's happening, and people who are riding the wave. And when you're riding on top of the wave, it's the greatest feeling in the world. To give you an example of what riding the wave is like, it's like Michael Jordan, for example. He's a phenomenal basketball player, right? Or was a phenomenal basketball player. He can still beat a lot of people today, even at his age. But you talk to Michael Jordan, he tells you that the game slows down for him. Okay, all the great athletes in any kind of sport will tell you the same thing. The game slows down. What are they talking about? What they're talking about is they found a way, whether knowing or unknowing, to send their mind into a state, a multidimensional state, where they're actually operating from a higher plane of existence. And from that state, from that point, they're closer to real-time information. Everything else around them looks like it's moving much slower. I mean, incredibly slower, because why? They're closer to true source information. The people that are on the team or on the court moving around, they're responding to everything as it happens, Whereas somebody like Michael Jordan already knows what's going to happen before it happens. You see? That's how he's able to dribble through 5 people and maneuver through 5 people and score on them and do all these amazing things. It's because he's living closer to real-time source information. That's what it means to live in the moment. The moment is not the moment of this avatar third dimension. The moment is a higher level of consciousness to real time, closer to real time. So whereas it's up to 7 seconds delay for the average person, a person like Michael Jordan in his sport only, because it's like people have specific talents and abilities to tap into that realm in certain things. He's probably more like a 2-second delay instead of a 7-second delay, making everything else move extremely slow. This can also be found in nature. I don't know if you knew this. Animals and insects experience time totally different than human beings. Okay? You ever try to swat a fly? How hard it is to swat a fly? You got to be like, really, you got to time it just right. You know why? Because to us, to the fly, we are moving around like this, slow motion. The fly experiences time totally different than a human being experiences time. And to a fly, from a fly's perspective, we're moving in slow motion. From a bird's perspective, we're moving in slow motion. Birds see humans walking around in this slow, lethargic movement like sloths. That's how they see us. They perceive us that way because of the way they're tapped in with this arrow of time, and the way they experience time is relative to the beholder. And they are the beholder at that. From their perspective, we're moving in slow motion. They experience time at a much faster rate. Okay, so because of that, you'll see that there's been experiments done where there'll be birds on top of a building, and at the base of the building, they'll light off a firecracker or M80 and see how the birds respond at the top of the building or the top of the tree. And they'll find that the birds are already taken off just before the moment of the actual explosion. How is that? How is that? That means the explosion actually already happened. And they, so we're not, again, we're delayed. We're significantly delayed in delay time. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to work through that. We're going to understand why and how it works. We're going to find out how to get closer to real-time information, how to tap into our multidimensional mind, and how to move up into higher levels of consciousness, and then send our mind out to discover targets in the present and also in the future. Okay, so it's going to be amazing. It's going to be an amazing workshop. Probably one of the best workshops I believe I've ever done. This is going to be the best of the best. There'll be no other workshop better than this up to date in terms of this type of content. And I'm really pleased and happy with the progress I've made so far preparing for this workshop and the content and the information. Everybody will get emailed some worksheets that they have to print out. This is an interactive workshop where you'll be chatting. We'll be chatting back and forth in the chat group. We'll be answering questions, and we'll be going through some real science, and we're going through some real targets and some real learning how to do remote viewing. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be an amazing workshop. I'm really, really looking forward to it. It's going to be mind-blowing. Okay, so you're not going to want to miss it. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. All right, guys, I see a lot of people in here tonight. Not bad for my first time really hopping on here and hanging out for a while. So yeah, this is pretty cool. I appreciate it. I'm gonna start doing more lives on YouTube, and just trying to connect with you guys a little bit more. It's just it's a lot harder on Instagram. You go live and it just seems like nobody gets the notifications or something. I don't really know what's going on there, but I'm definitely gonna hop on here and do a lot more lives on here. Let me see if I can paste a link to this event in this chat real quick. Let me see if I can find this link and then paste it in here. Where's this link at? Let's see. One second. Yeah, this workshop. I'm really excited for this workshop because I already know it's going to be one of my best. The imagination workshop I did was 6 hours, and I think there's 300 or 400 positive comments on that video on Forbidden Knowledge TV. 300 or 400 people were extremely satisfied with the imagination workshop, and I think this one's going to be just as good or better. People are going to be very excited. I just dropped the link to the Eventbrite in the chat. Can I pin it? I'm gonna pin it. Okay, boom, I just pinned it. So it's a pinned comment there for me. The link to Eventbrite to register for the remote viewing ESP workshop, December the 5th, 2020. That'll be from 4 p.m. Eastern to 9 p.m. Eastern, 5 hours. We're going in 5 hours. We're going in deep. I mean, we're going to go in deep. I'm going to assign, at the end of class, I'm going to assign a target to everyone. I'm going to consciously attach the target to my consciousness. And because I attach a number to that target, when I give you the number, all you get is a number. When you're in class, like when I was in class, all you get is a number. You don't get anything but a number. You don't know what's a person, a place, or a thing. You have no idea. You get a number, and from that target number, you got to figure out what's going on. So I'm going to consciously attach something to that number. And once I do that, it's burnt into the universe permanently. Okay? And then I'm going to give you that target number. And from there, you're going to have to extrapolate exactly what the target is. And a lot of you guys are going to be very amazed. You're going to be really amazed if you paid attention and did, what it took in class to learn and duplicate it. And now some people will be better than others. It will take practice. One class isn't going to make you a master at it. After I got out of my classes and workshops, which were 13 hours each, I then would study and practice on my own. Because you study and you practice to become better and better and better. Work on the fundamentals, just like in sports. I just work on the fundamentals, and everything else comes to you. So it's going to be amazing. It's going to be, I think, something that you can really use in life. People say, well, what am I going to do with remote viewing? Well, when I'm analyzing what businesses to start and what businesses to go into, I remote view those businesses and I see what path they lead to in terms of success or failure. I see what decisions I make and what decisions will end up being success or failure. And then I base my decisions on that. So I remote view. That's why I have so many successful businesses. People go, how do you keep starting a business and every business is doing phenomenal? Oh, well, remote viewing. I tap into the multidimensional and I literally remote view what my next moves are going to be. So I see them before I do them, and I figure out which path, because time creates ripples. Okay, you have ripples in time, and those ripples go out. So every time you make a thought, you don't have to actually go physically do something. I don't have to pick up this phone. You know why? If I think about picking up the phone consciously and I envision it, then the phone has been picked up. Maybe not in the realm that you can see it being picked up. On the consciousness platform, it's been picked up, you see? So because of that, you have the ability to see, travel, and go and do things, touch, smell, hear, and feel things without actually physically being there. Because we're all connected on this energetic grid, and all sensory perception is collection of data. Collection of data. It's going to be, you guys are going to be amazed. It's going to be an amazing workshop. I'm looking forward to it. Got a lot of great things going on. Don't forget, I do have a lot of new products on forbiddenknowledge.com. My newest product is this. I invented this. This is the Forbidden Knowledge sanitation box, if you want to call it that. So what you do is you open it up, and you can put your mask in here. You can put your cell phone in here. And this is a very large cell phone. It's a Samsung Galaxy Note 20. Put your cell phone in there, put your keys in there, put your jewelry in there, You got to put that in here. Close it. When you close it, you press this button. Now, it's not plugged in right now. It would talk to me if it was plugged in. Let me see if I have the plug over here. And so what it does, it will sanitize using UV light. It'll sanitize your device, sanitize your jewelry, sanitize your watch, sanitize your dirty keys. Okay? I'm going to plug this in here.
The device is powered on.
The device is powered on, you see? And so now, all I do is just press this button.
Start disinfection.
So it's starting disinfection now. Okay? And so now it's at 25%. Sounds like somebody's trying to call me on one of these phones. I don't know which one it is. Well, let me just turn this off. because I get a million phone calls here. So now it's sanitizing. You see it's at 25%. It'll go all the way to 100%. And then it'll tell me that disinfection is complete. That means the UV light in here has completely erased 99.9% of the bacteria. This is not new technology in terms of the light. We know that this light does this because why? It's used in barbershops and hair salons, required by law. It desanitizes the hairbrushes and the clippers from viruses and bacteria. So that part of the technology already existed, okay? What I've done is I've figured out a way to put it into a nice, stylish box. It says forbidden knowledge on it. You can put your items in here and you can sanitize them. You can take your dirty mask off. You can't wash your mask every single day. I know I don't. But I could take it and put it in here and I can desanitize it, take all the bacteria and germs off of it, just like that. Boom, it's ready to go. In just a few minutes, I could put it right back on again. I don't have to put it in a dryer and everything else. Wait for a full load of laundry just to wash my mask. I could just sanitize it right here. Another amazing thing is there's a spot in here for aromatherapy. So you can take some natural oils and put some drops in there, close it. There's another button on this for aromatherapy.
Start aromatherapy.
And now it would automatically make a nice smell on your whatever it is you have in here. Make it smell really good, okay? So it's pretty cool, and you can get this on forbiddenknowledge.com with the number 4, forbiddenknowledge.com. Just use coupon code forbidden with the number 4, FORBIDDEN, okay? And you will be able to get a discount on it. I'm gonna drop the link to this inside the chat as well. I only have a limited amount of these. I ordered 1,000 of them, and I think I have about 540 left. And I have more being made, but it takes such a long time to make them and everything, and to go through UL approval. These are all UL listed, UL approved. Okay, so they've been tested and tried and true and everything else. So that's the link to that if you want to try that. I just dropped the link to that inside the chat. You can check it out. I think it's an amazing product. Look, I'm already up to 75%. Okay, so I'm almost completely sanitized. Some of the most dirtiest things you have are your phone, your keys, your mask, those 3 things. Somebody was talking about the other day when I posted this, like, we can just use Clorox wipes and we can just use disinfectant spray. Okay, you want to keep spraying and using chemicals? You want to keep putting harmful chemicals all over your skin and on your hands? You know, deteriorating. Every time you put Clorox on your skin, it literally destroys the DNA in those skin cells immediately. Like immediately, it instantly destroys the DNA. So you're talking about premature aging of your hands. So many people, let's look at people after this pandemic. You're going to look at people's hands who've been using all these hand sanitizers all the time. Their hands are going to be completely destroyed. They're going to look like hands of 100-year-old men and 100-year-old women. It's going to be horrible, you know. This at least alleviates some of it. It's a one-time purchase, and you can sanitize your mask, your keys, your phone, and whatever else you could fit in here, you know, for nothing. It's going to be free every time you do it. It's incredible, okay? And there's no chemicals. And you're going to get 99.9% of the bacteria and viruses. You know, what more could you want? Any virus, any bacteria. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be COVID. You know, I got these hats. Okay, these are EMF protection hats. So inside the hat, the material on the inside of the hat is EMF material that blocks electromagnetic frequency. So when you put the hat on, it blocks the 5G from going into your brain. Blocks the 5G from going into your brain. I have a video on Forbidden Knowledge Instagram that shows a complete demonstration. When you put the detector, this is my sensor right here. See? It senses EMF frequencies, and it shows you how it blocks it, okay? I even have the pyramid here. These are EMF protection pyramids. They block the frequency from EMFs. So I put this, I have one of these by my nightstand, on my nightstand when I'm sleeping. I have obviously here some in my office. Everywhere around the house, I have these decorative pyramids that have different types of crystals on the inside, but they also have EMF protection to help reduce the amount of 5G and EMFs that are going into our body. Okay, you heard it say shut down. It's done. So my items are now completely sanitized and cleared for use. No bacteria, no germs, no viruses. I'm clean. You see? Just that easy, guys. And all I did was just plug this into the USB port on my laptop while I was talking to you. Very simple, very easy to use. Okay. So if you get a chance, check it out. There's only a few of them left. I think there's about 450 left. Those will probably be gone in just a few days. And they are available and in the warehouse ready for shipping. All right. But guys, thanks for hopping on this live. I really, really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to doing a lot more lives on YouTube. Don't forget the event. The link to the event is in this chat. I'm going to make a caption when this video goes live on YouTube, and in the caption will be the links as well. I'm going to be doing that remote viewing ESP workshop on December the 5th from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. You're not going to want to miss this. I'm going deep. It's going to be one of the most amazing workshops I've ever done. I guarantee it. All right. And I want to appreciate and thank every single one of y'all for coming on here. I do have a lot of new music out. So if you look on Forbidden Knowledge on any music app, including YouTube, you'll find a lot of new tracks, all meditation tracks I've done now. The astral projection track, the Merkaba meditation. I've got so many tracks out now. They're all meditation tracks. Okay. Check them out. Do some meditation. I think I'm going to start doing a meditation. I might start doing a live meditation Monday to get people started off a good way in a week. Maybe starting on Monday. Probably this first Monday coming up, I'll do a morning Monday meditation at probably like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Eastern time. Just a quick 11-minute and 11-second meditation to get people off to a good start for the week. I think I'm going to go ahead and start that. All right. And I'll broadcast that live on YouTube and Instagram at the same time. I'll just use two devices simultaneously. All right. And I appreciate y'all. Thanks a lot. Somebody says snake oil. Yeah, snake oil. It's called research and science is what it's really called. That's what it's all about. Research and real science, not just pseudo conspiracy science some of you guys got going on out here. All right. And I appreciate y'all. And thank you so much. Thanks for coming on to YouTube Live, and I will be back very, very soon. All right. Peace and love from Forbidden Knowledge.